Have you ever wondered what makes someone regret losing you? It's not the arguments. It's not the long texts. It's not the desperate attempts to explain your worth. No. The deepest regret comes when you walk away in silence, when you detach completely, and when you rebuild yourself into someone they can no longer reach. That's when their mind begins to spiral. That's when the haunting truth sets in. They let go of something they will never find again. This is the story of a man who gave everything to a woman who thought he was replaceable. She took his love for granted, dismissed his presence, and believed he would always be there no matter how she treated him. But when he finally chose himself, when he stopped chasing, stopped explaining, stopped giving, he discovered a power far greater than revenge. In his absence, she began to feel it. In his silence, she began to question herself, and in her regret, she began to realize the value of what she had lost. Dark psychology reveals this truth. People don't regret losing you because of what you say to them. They regret losing you because of what they can no longer have. It's the absence, the mystery, the silence. It's the image of you moving on, thriving, becoming stronger, while they remain stuck replaying the past. That is the seed of regret, and it grows louder the more you evolve. So remember this: you don't make them regret losing you by chasing them. You make them regret losing you by refusing to be broken, by disappearing into silence, and by returning as someone greater. That's the path, that's the power, that's the lesson. If you're ready to let regret do the talking for you, if you're ready to rise in silence, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. They will regret losing me. Now let's begin. Number 1. The power of walking away. Walking away is the single most powerful move you can make. Most people think power comes from fighting harder, from proving your worth, from clinging until the other person finally understands. Nope. Power comes from leaving. Because when you walk away, you don't just exit their life. You take with you the comfort, the attention, the energy they assumed would never run out. At first, they may not notice. They may think they've won, but over time, the void sets in. The calls stop. The texts go unanswered. The presence they once dismissed becomes an absence that gnaws at them. And in that silence, their mind begins to work against them. Why did he leave so easily? Did I mean nothing to him? Has he already moved on? These questions don't fade. They grow louder with every passing day. The Stoics believed walking away was not weakness, but strength. Epictetus said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." As long as you were there, she never had to learn your value. But when you left, when you removed yourself completely, the lesson became unavoidable. That is the true power of walking away. It forces recognition without a single word. Dark psychology confirms this. Humans are wired to fear loss more than they value gain. Psychologists call it loss aversion. And when you walk away, you trigger it in full force. She may not have appreciated your presence, but she will feel the sting of your absence. And that sting is the beginning of regret. If you're ready to stop chasing and start reclaiming your power by walking away, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. Walking away is my strength. Number 2. The weight of silence. Silence is heavier than words. Arguments can be ignored, texts can be deleted, calls can be declined. But silence? Silence is inescapable. It lingers in the mind, echoing louder with each day it goes unanswered. And that's why silence is one of the most powerful weapons in both Stoicism and dark psychology. When you choose silence, you refuse to play the game. You stop feeding her with reactions. You no longer provide attention, anger, or explanation. Instead, you let the void speak for you. And here's the truth. Silence unsettles people more than any insult ever could, because silence forces them to face the reality they've been avoiding. There is no back and forth to distract them, no words to twist, no reaction to feed on. There is only the emptiness of your absence. The Stoics taught that restraint is greater than reaction. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You always own the option of having no opinion." Choosing silence is choosing discipline. It's refusing to allow someone else to control your energy. And ironically, that very restraint is what disturbs them most, because it shows that you are no longer emotionally chained to them. Dark psychology makes this even clearer. The human brain craves feedback. Every action looks for a response. When you deny that response, their mind fills the silence with questions. Why isn't he reacting? Why isn't he chasing? Did I really mean so little? Or did I mean everything? These unanswered questions become torture, and the regret begins to grow. If you're ready to stop wasting words and let silence do the talking, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My silence speaks louder than words. Number 3. Detachment creates value. Clinging devalues you. The more you chase, the more you explain, the more you beg for recognition, the less value you hold in their eyes. But the moment you detach, the moment you stop needing their validation, something powerful happens. Your value rises, because people always crave what they can't control. Detachment is not coldness. It's not pretending not to care while secretly obsessing. True detachment is understanding that your worth doesn't come from someone else's approval. It comes from within. When you let go of the need for her attention, you reclaim your energy. And paradoxically, it's in that detachment that her mind begins to spin. Why isn't he chasing? Why doesn't he care anymore? Who does he value if it's not me? That shift creates a hunger she didn't feel before, because your presence is no longer guaranteed. The Stoics lived by this principle. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Apply that truth here. The less you need her, the richer you become. And nothing creates value like scarcity. When your attention is no longer cheap, when your presence is no longer guaranteed, its worth skyrockets in her mind. Dark psychology explains this as the scarcity effect. The rarer something is, the more desirable it becomes. By detaching, by stepping away, by no longer pouring yourself out, you become scarce. And that scarcity plants the first seeds of regret. She may not have valued your presence when it was overflowing, but she will feel the sting of its absence when it's gone. If you're ready to reclaim your value through detachment, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My detachment makes me priceless. Number 4. Absence as a mirror. Absence is more than silence. It's a mirror. When you step away, when you no longer give her your time, your energy, your attention, she is forced to look at herself. There are no more distractions, no more arguments, no more reassurances from you to cover the truth. There is only her and the weight of her own decisions. At first, she may try to fill the gap with noise. She might distract herself with other people, new experiences, or even prideful denial. But eventually, the mirror of absence becomes unavoidable. In quiet moments, her thoughts will circle back to you. The things she dismissed, the loyalty she overlooked, the presence she thought was guaranteed. Suddenly, those memories reflect back at her with a different light. And that reflection isn't flattering, it's haunting. The Stoics taught that reality becomes clear when distractions are stripped away. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." In the same way, she wasted what you gave her, and your absence forces her to see that waste. No excuses, no illusions, just the reflection of what she lost staring back at her. Dark psychology makes this even sharper. The human mind struggles when it cannot escape its own conscience. Without you there to argue, she can't project blame. Without you there to chase, she can't deny the truth. The absence becomes a mirror that forces her to acknowledge her role in the loss. And in that mirror, regret grows. But here's the power. You don't need to show her the mirror. Your absence does it for you. And the longer she stares into it, the heavier the regret becomes. If you're ready to let your absence reflect the truth, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My absence is their mirror. Number 5. Regret is born in comparison. Regret doesn't appear out of nowhere. It's born the moment comparison begins. At first, she might think she can replace you easily. She might even convince herself she's better off. But life always reveals the truth. Sooner or later, she'll compare what she had with what she has now. And in that comparison, regret takes its first breath. She'll remember your loyalty when others give her nothing but games. She'll remember your presence when others vanish at the first sign of difficulty. She'll remember your consistency when others bring only chaos. Every flaw she finds in someone new will sharpen the memory of what she dismissed in you. And each time, the scale tips heavier toward regret. The Stoics would see this as natural justice. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." She thought letting you go was the right choice, but reality will prove otherwise. Her actions created the void, and comparison will be the punishment she cannot escape. Dark psychology calls this the contrast effect. The human mind judges everything in relation to what came before, and because she had you, because she experienced your presence, your loyalty, your steadiness, everything after you will be measured against that standard, and nothing will quite match. That's where regret grows deepest, when every new experience becomes a reminder of what she lost. But here's the power. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to make her see. Comparison does the work for you. And the more you grow, the sharper that contrast becomes. If you're ready to let your growth turn into their comparison, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My growth fuels their regret. Number 6. The dark psychology of what if. The human mind is tortured not by what it knows, but by what it wonders. And nothing feeds regret more than the two words that never leave. What if? When you're gone, when you've detached, when you've stopped chasing, she begins to ask herself those questions. What if I had treated him better? What if I hadn't pushed him away? What if I'll never find anyone like him again? This is where dark psychology comes alive, because the what-if spiral has no end. The brain hates unanswered questions, and your silence ensures those questions remain open forever. No closure, no explanation, no soft landing, just the haunting echo of possibilities that can never be resolved. The longer it lingers, the sharper the regret becomes. The Stoics knew the power of the mind's questions. Epictetus said, "We are not disturbed by things, but by the views we take of them." The event itself, losing you, becomes secondary. It's the reflection, the imagination, the endless what-ifs that do the real damage. And the beauty of it? You don't have to say a word. Your absence writes the script her mind will replay on its own. What if regret is the most painful kind because it has no cure? She can't go back. She can't change her choices. She can't erase the image of you moving forward without her. The more she wonders, the deeper her regret cuts. If you're ready to let silence plant the what-ifs that fuel regret, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. What if becomes their regret? Number 7. Living well as the answer. There is no need for revenge. There is no need for games. The sharpest answer you can ever give to someone who doubted you, dismissed you, or lost you is to live well. Because while they expected you to crumble, while they imagined you broken, your success becomes the living proof that their absence didn't destroy you. It refined you. The Stoics held this truth above all. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." And that is exactly what living well means. You don't waste your energy plotting how to hurt them back. You don't stay stuck in bitterness. You don't chase them to prove your worth. Instead, you use that same energy to build yourself, physically, mentally, spiritually. You become the man whose life speaks louder than any insult. Dark psychology reveals why this cuts so deep. Humans crave significance. They want to feel irreplaceable. But when you live well without them, when you thrive, succeed, and find peace, they're confronted with a brutal reality. You never needed them in the first place, and nothing sparks regret faster than realizing the person they underestimated is now untouchable. Living well is not about showing off. It's about freedom. It's about waking up every day knowing you are stronger, calmer, and sharper than you were yesterday. It's about proving to yourself, not to her, that no betrayal has the power to define your future. That is why living well will always be the only answer worth giving. If you're ready to turn pain into progress and let your life speak for itself, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My life is my answer. Number 8. The collapse of control. When someone thinks they can toy with you, dismiss you, or replace you, it's because they believe they have control. Control over your emotions, control over your attention, control over your presence. But the moment you detach, the moment you walk away without a word, all of that control collapses. At first, she may not feel it. She may even believe she's in charge. But as time passes and your silence holds, the truth sinks in. She can no longer reach you. She can't pull on your emotions like she used to. She can't summon your presence with a text. She can't control your actions with her absence. That collapse of control is devastating because it flips the dynamic. Suddenly, the person who thought they held the power is the one left powerless. The Stoics mastered this kind of freedom. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." And nothing requires more bravery than refusing to let anyone else dictate your peace. When you ghost, when you detach, you show that your emotions are your own. Your energy is your own. Your life is your own. No one controls a Stoic man but himself. Dark psychology explains why this collapse cuts so deep. Control gives people security, but when it vanishes, when they realize they no longer have influence over you, their mind spirals. Why can't I get to him anymore? Why doesn't he care? Who has his attention now? That spiral breeds doubt, and doubt breeds regret. By collapsing their control, you don't just protect yourself, you force them to see the truth. They never owned you, they only borrowed you. And once you're gone, that access is gone forever. If you're ready to reclaim your peace and collapse their control for good, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. No one controls me but me. Number 9. Transformation in the shadows. The most haunting thing you can ever do is transform in silence. While she expects you to be broken, waiting, or stuck in the past, you're in the shadows rebuilding yourself. You're sharpening your body, strengthening your mind, and disciplining your spirit. You're creating a life that doesn't just recover, it thrives. And the beauty of this transformation is that it doesn't need to be announced. It doesn't need to be posted. It simply exists. And when it's finally revealed, it shocks the world. The Stoics believed hardship was the forge of greatness. Epictetus, born a slave, became a philosopher whose words still shape lives thousands of years later. His suffering didn't destroy him, it refined him. And the same principle applies to you. Heartbreak, betrayal, disappointment, these are not curses. They're catalysts. They are the pressure that transforms coal into diamonds if you're disciplined enough to let them. From a dark psychology perspective, this is devastating for her, because the man she thought she left behind is gone. In his place stands someone stronger, sharper, and untouchable. And that transformation intensifies regret. Why? Because regret isn't just about losing what was, it's about realizing you can never touch what it became. Your transformation in the shadows is your real victory. You don't need revenge. You don't need to prove anything. You only need to become so complete, so elevated, that her regret becomes inevitable the moment she sees what you've become. If you're ready to rise in silence and let your transformation speak louder than words, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My transformation is my revenge. Number 10. The final regret. The deepest regret isn't losing you, it's realizing you no longer care. At first, she may think you'll come back. She may convince herself you're still waiting, still hurting, still holding on. But when she finally sees the truth, that you've moved on, that you've transformed, that her opinion no longer matters, that's when regret cuts the deepest. Because it's not just about losing you. It's about losing the power she once had over you. This is the final regret. Understanding that she can't reach you anymore. She can't stir your emotions, can't shake your peace, can't pull you back into her chaos. And worse, she has to live with the knowledge that the man she once dismissed is now beyond her reach forever. That realization is a weight she cannot put down. The Stoics knew this victory well. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy." And that's exactly what happens here. You don't hate her, you don't chase her, you don't seek revenge. You simply outgrow her. And your indifference, your complete freedom from her, is the punishment her own mind delivers. Dark psychology shows us why this hits hardest. People crave significance. They want to know they mattered. But when you rise so high that their name no longer stirs anything in you, they are forced to face the brutal truth. They no longer matter. And nothing crushes the human ego more than becoming irrelevant in the life of someone who once cared deeply. That is the final regret. Not that she lost you, but that you no longer need her. If you're ready to embrace that final victory, if you're ready to move on with peace and power, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My indifference is their punishment. Regret is not something you force, it's something you allow. By walking away, by choosing silence, by mastering detachment, you give them no choice but to face themselves. You don't chase, you don't argue, you don't explain, you simply rise. And in your rise, the regret is born, not because you made them feel it, but because they created it themselves. Think about what we've uncovered: the power of walking away, the weight of silence, the value of detachment, the mirror of absence, the sting of comparison, the spiral of what if, the victory of living well, the collapse of their control, and your transformation in the shadows. All of it leads to one truth. The final regret is realizing they can never touch you again. That is dark psychology. That is Stoic discipline. That is freedom. The man who no longer reacts, who no longer seeks revenge, who no longer begs, that man becomes untouchable. And nothing creates more regret than losing a man like that. So let them regret. Let their minds replay the past. Let their silence torment them. While they're haunted by what they lost, you'll be building, rising and becoming stronger than ever before. That is your victory. That is your peace. That is your power. If you're ready to live with that kind of strength, if you're ready to let regret take care of itself, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. Their regret is my freedom. Thanks for watching, Stoic Soldier.